All right, let's get started. Welcome to week 17 of the Ayurvedic habit building program. Hi, Baba. Today we're talking about our habit number 8 actually, which is exercise. I have it wrong on the slide. Um, it's Last week we spoke about oral hygiene, and today we're starting a new habit, which is exercise. This is the awareness week. Let's get started as usual with presence pause and breath regulation that I'm going to guide you through. I request you all to please be seated in a comfortable position and close your eyes if possible for presence pause. Be seated in a comfortable position and close your eyes if possible. I'm going to guide you through 7 prompts for presence pause. And for each prompt, you're going to direct your attention and observe without labeling anything or judging anything. Start by bringing your attention to your breath. Notice your breath. And now shift your attention to your stomach. Observe any sensations in your stomach. Do not judge them. Just simply be present with any sensations in your stomach. Now shift your attention to your feet. Notice any sensations on your feet. Now observe your posture. Do not correct it. Simply observe your posture. Now watch what's running on your mind. Notice your thoughts without engaging with them. Simply observe your thoughts. Now, how alert or tired do you feel in your body? How alert or tired do you feel in your body? And where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Simply be present with any sensations. Now let's take 3 deep breaths. On the count of 4, inhale and exhale on the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be present with your feeling and slowly open your eyes. All right. Let's get started with habit number 8, which is exercise. Before we begin, take a quick moment to reflect on how your progress is with the previous habits. We have covered habits ranging from breath to 4 point hydration rhythm, evening routines. And in the second half of the program, we started with some morning routines like sunlight exposure, oral hygiene. And today we're going to talk about exercise. Take a moment with yourself, even after the class, to reflect on how you're progressing on the previous habits. Even small steps of progress matter. So keep going. I know most of you are making great progress on all of these. So, all the best and keep going. So, let's talk about exercise today, movement. Movement today in our lives has almost become optional. For most of human history, movement was naturally built into daily living, right? People walked more, worked physically, they sat less, spent more time outdoors, and their bodies experienced natural activity throughout the day. But modern life has changed that dramatically. Many of us spend large portions of the day sitting, working on computers, or driving, or scrolling, or moving between sedentary routines. So, movement is no longer naturally built into our life the way it once was. Now we have to intentionally create it, intentionally make it a part of our lives. This is why exercise and movement are one of our habits that we're tackling in this program. They are both truly non negotiable for health. Our bodies are designed to move regularly. Movement supports circulation, digestion, metabolism, detoxification. It supports our joint and muscle health and our emotional regulation, even our sleep quality, our mental clarity, and overall energy levels. So it's so important for our overall health, and that's why it's a non-negotiable. When What happens when movement reduces too much? Our bodies start to become more stagnant. Stagnation begins building in the system, physically as well as mentally. We may feel sluggish or heavy or foggy in the head or restless, stiff or tired, or even emotionally low. But at the same time, it's important to understand the difference between activity and exercise. So that's something we're going to talk about today, activity versus exercise. Activity is the natural movement that we do throughout the day. Things like walking, cleaning, gardening, taking the stairs, or carrying groceries, or playing with children, or simply moving around more. All of these come under activity. And all of these are super important. We have to stay active throughout the day. But exercise is more intentional movement. It's done specifically for strength or endurance or flexibility or fitness, like yoga, gym workouts, or swimming, running, dance. So, such activities are called exercise. As I said, both are important for health. But one of the modern patterns we often see today that you should keep in mind is that daily activity becomes very low because we have mostly have sedentary lifestyles. Our activity becomes low, and then we try to compensate with occasional intense exercise. So we're going on either ends of the spectrum. So the body experiences long periods of stagnation followed by sudden overexertion. Ayurveda suggests taking a more balanced and sustainable approach to this. From an Ayurvedic perspective, exercise should support the body and not punish it. Ayurveda says Ardha Shakti Vyayamam, which means exercise to half your capacity and to a point where you're almost breaking a sweat, to a point where you don't have to pant. If you start panting in the exercise or overexert yourself, it's actually more detrimental to your health. So exercise should support the body. It's not a punishment. And movement should happen throughout the day. It shouldn't be a one-off thing. And exercise ideally, as per Ayurveda, creates lightness in the body. It improves circulation, it supports digestion, it builds strength gradually and improves mental clarity. And it creates sustainable energy overall. So, ideally, you should finish exercise feeling refreshed, feeling awake, and more alive, and not completely exhausted. So, we spoke about multiple things here: movement, activity versus rest, and exercise. So, in this program, for this habit, where we are not just looking at whether we move or whether we exercise, we are going to be exploring mainly the rhythm, the timing of movement and exercise. As with everything, as with most other habits, we are focusing on rhythms. So, with this as well, we're going to be talking about how different times of the day affect the body differently and how working with our body's natural rhythms can support our energy, our balance, and overall well being. So, how our exercise can fit in our daily rhythm so as to support all of our other rhythms, support all of our other rhythms, and not be detrimental to our health. So, that's we're going to be talking about timing of movement and exercise a lot. All right. So, as I said, one of the important ideas in Ayurveda is that the body is not functioning the same way throughout the day. When we spoke about early dinners, we spoke about kapha kala, which is the kapha time of the day. I mentioned that different times of the day carry different qualities, and Ayurveda describes these through the doshic cycles. Morning from around 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and evening 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. are considered the kapha predominant times of the day, which means that at these times of the day, the environment and also our bodies, because our bodies are just mirroring the environment around us, they are both predominant with qualities of kapha. Kapha is composed of the elements of earth and water, which means it has qualities like heaviness, slowness, coolness, stability, and it's grounded. So, what that means, you can notice this in your bodies during these times of the day, between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., for example, in the mornings. If you notice, how do you wake up? You wake up feeling sluggish, you wake up feeling a little bit of lethargy, and even outside of our bodies, for example, if you see the grass, there's a dewy nature in the early mornings in around us. There's dewiness on the grass, there's more moisture in the air in the mornings. All this moisture and the slow energy, it's all kapha energy. In our bodies as well, there is a lot of more fluid in our bodies during the morning hours. And this is why many of us feel slower or stiffer and less motivated in the morning, right? This is exactly why Ayurveda recommends exercise during this time to counterbalance those heavier kapha qualities. So, exercise during kapha time brings warmth, it brings circulation, alertness, energy, and motivation. So, rather than fighting the sluggishness with, say, caffeine, like with coffee, like that most people do, Ayurveda encourages using movement to awaken our system naturally. And exercising during this time of the day is also beneficial because kapha gives us that stability and grounding for us to be able to exert our bodies better and not to cause overstrain to our bodies. So this is the most supportive time of the day to do your exercise, which is our morning time between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it could be any exercise like a brisk walk or Surya Namaskar, yoga, mobility work, or strength training, or any intentional movement to activate the body. And talking about the evening kapha time, which is 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. By this time, many of us we accumulate mental fatigue, right? Physical stagnation and screen fatigue or stress from work or emotional tension. So all of that is we accrue through the day, and by evening we want to release all of this because we want to wind down. So evening movement is more about release and transition into bedtime. So, gentle movement is preferable in the evening, not intense workouts. In modern day, most of us find time to work out in the evening. So, many of us do heavy workouts in the evening times. But Ayurveda recommends doing it more in the morning, and evening should be mostly gentler workouts like stretching or yoga or light cycling. And even if you do intense workouts, keep it more towards early evenings rather than later because you can get extremely tired and that can impact your sleep again. So evening movement is mostly to help our body transition out of mental overactivity and reduce that accumulated stagnation throughout the day. So, this is the idea of the exercise rhythm, our morning activation and evening gentle release. And the goal is not really intensity of exercise, but creating this sustainable rhythm of movement throughout the day that works with our body cycles rather than against them. And for this week, this is just the awareness week. So the goal is not to immediately change or optimize your exercise routine. Or if you're someone who's not exercising at all, it's not to immediately ask you to start working out. The goal is to simply observe. And these are 5 points here that I recommend that you bring awareness to. We're going to discuss each in detail. A lot of time we approach exercise with fixed ideas, right? What time should we exercise, or like how should we exercise, or what kind of movement is good enough. But before changing anything, awareness of how your body responds is most important. Firstly, I would invite you to ask yourself when you naturally feel most energized to move. Notice whether your body naturally feels more ready for movement in the morning or afternoon or evening. Some people feel mentally clearer and more energized with morning movement versus others notice that their body takes very long to wake up and it's very difficult for some people. And it also has to fit your schedules. So notice when you actually feel more energized, and also observe whether exercising earlier, if you exercise already, earlier versus later in the day. How does it make you feel? Does morning movement make you feel more alert, lighter, and focused? Or do you notice that late exercise affects your energy differently? Notice how working out at different times of the day affects your energy in different ways. And for evening movement, sometimes it helps people calm and helps release the accumulated tension from the day. But intense workouts can feel overstimulating and it can be harder to settle down. So, after any point in the day when you exercise, Observe, do you feel calm afterwards, or do you feel energized or refreshed, or do you feel overstimulated or tired? Excuse me. And then how exercise impacts your sleep. Sometimes the body gives feedback rather than immediately after exercise. It you can observe how exercise is impacting your sleep quality, your ability to recover post exercise. So all of these are also something that I would request you to bring more awareness to. And finally, zoom out and look at your movement across the whole day, not just exercise, but movement. Do you have long stretches of inactivity in the day? Do you take small movement breaks multiple times in the day? Do you have natural movement built into your daily routines? Like, do you do, say, cooking or any other kind of activity that involves movement? Or, and do you somewhat have a consistent rhythm of movement? Because as much as exercise is important, a dedicated workout is important, it's also important to see how regularly the body moves throughout the day. Okay. So this this week it's simply about observation of all of these aspects of how and when you feel energized to exercise, and when you are what times of the day you typically move more or exercise, and how that's impacting how do you feel after your exercise, and how it's impacting your sleep, your digestion, and various other rhythms. So bring more awareness into all of this. You don't have to make any changes to your current routine, but just observe these things. And next week is implementation week. So we're going to talk about how we can make exercise fit into your rhythm so that it supports your body overall. And we're going to talk about how to make this habit more sustainable. Any questions for today? Right, if no one has anything, I'll let you go. Thank you all for joining. Have a great day.